I remember growing up Catholic and then being introduced later in college to my first non-denominational worship setting. I mean, freak show. The thing that goes through your mind when you enter into those environments after never experiencing them before is literally, what the hell is happening right now?
So worship to me is finding out who you are, how you were made.
It's also a good opportunity for me to use creativity and have that freedom.
Worship for me is like complete dedication of your thoughts on God. One of my favorite ways to worship is to sing.
I see that as worship, where people are building each other up, using their gifts and passions. It's not just singing, it's all the various ministry opportunities you see at every corner. Figuring out how those combine with how you're wired.
People expect you to stand up and worship this way, this way, this way, and it's unfortunate. The church is God's beloved. He wants us to be able to worship freely. I think we like structure too much.
All right, look, we need to talk about this worship stuff, because I remember growing up Catholic and then being introduced later in college to my first non-denominational worship setting. I mean, freak show. The thing that goes through your mind when you enter into those environments after never experiencing them before is literally, what the hell is happening right now? I mean, eyes closed, hands raised, people swaying, praying out loud, whole 9 yards. I could have used a heads up on that one. I spent the first decade following Jesus beating myself up for wondering why I was so broken, why I couldn't connect like other people were connecting in these worship settings. That is, until I realized that worship is more dynamic than I ever thought. When you look at worship in the Bible, it is associated with an action. In fact, when I look at Romans, one of my favorite parts of the Bible that specifically Paul talks about worship, it says this: "Therefore I urge you, brothers, in light of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices. This is your spiritual act of worship." And he doesn't stop there. In fact, he goes on to say, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." So here we see even more actions taking place. What Paul is urging us to do is take every part of who we are, from our thoughts to our words to our hearts to our actions, and bring it in alignment with God. When we do that, we are worshiping. So here's the deal. Some environments are conducive to helping us align those things with God, and some aren't. It really depends on your personality type, your life experiences, a lot of different factors. So do yourself a favor. If you're one of those people who walks into a corporate worship setting and sees what's going on and says, "Man, I feel like I don't fit, I'm not connecting like everyone else is connecting," great. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. You know, one day, maybe all this will come into alignment, and that's what we hope for in heaven. That maybe we'll all be listening to the same music and sounds and singing and all be in perfect harmony, and that's awesome. But right now, things are pretty broken, and that ain't happening. So what we need to do in the meantime is find those areas in our life, whether they be a prayer closet, whether they be in your car listening to music, it doesn't matter. Find those environments that help you align with God. And when you're in those settings where you're saying, everybody, there's a lot of people that seem to be aligning, just not me, know that that's okay. You're gonna find your way that you align with God, and that is your spiritual act of worship.